Hello everyone, welcome back to my needle felting channel. Sarah Brown here from Felting with Nature. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create super simple veins on your leafy needle felting projects. Last week I recorded a video on how to use templates and cookie cutters when making shapes in your needle felting projects. Today it's just going to be the veins on the leaves. So today I don't need the cookie cutter, we'll move him out of the way. I've got my flat mat underneath here, which I really love for 2D and flat pieces. I've got a piece of felt on the top just to keep it protected. I've got my 38 triangular single needle with me, but I've also got my clover multi-tool with 2 needles in. This is fab for creating a straight lines. It's really good. If you need to know a little bit more about the clover tool, there's also a video on my YouTube channel for that as well. I've decided to use quite a bright colour for the veins today, just so that you can see it clearly. Usually I would use other shades of green. Obviously, if you are doing autumnal leaves or really bright spring leaves, you might want to use oranges for the autumnal leaves or really bright green, completely your choice. But I've gone for this lemon colour today just so that you can see it better. I've got 2 different techniques to show you. They're both nice and simple. Okay, so the first one is just to take a pinch of whatever colour you're going for. So we've got this lovely lemon colour, and you're going to draft it out as best you can. Get it as thin you can without breaking it. If you are a spinner, you'll be really good at this. Okay, and then you're just going to twist it using your fingers like this. Now, this essentially is making a piece of yarn. Ooh. And you get a nice long piece like this that's sort of coming together. Now I usually do the bits that are sticking out first, and then I do the line that comes back in the middle. The reason I do this is so that when I go to do the V shapes on here, I want them to be underneath the line that goes down, because I want them to look like they're coming out of the vein. Okay, so I need little pieces for that, so I'm just going to break that off a bit. Another twist in my hand. Okay, so single needle. I'm just going to move that one out of the way, and I just get it attached at one end down to the middle and back up again. I'm just creating almost like a V shape. Obviously, if you're using different types of leaves, you can create whatever sort of veins that you like the look of. But I'm just going for a V shape. I hope you can see that. And then I'm just going to come back on myself with what I've got left. Personally, if I don't have to, I don't like to cut my wool. But if you do have way too much, you can just snip off what you don't need. But I like to come back on myself because I had quite a thin bit at the beginning there, and now it's all thickened up. So I like the look of that one. Now, if you are pushing through a 2D flat shape, you're likely to get it stuck to the mat, just so you know. So just pull it off. Boop. Easy peasy. So I'm going to take the next bit, and I'm going to do exactly the same as I did for the top of the leaf. Tack it in. Follow it down. I do hope you can see. I'm going for roughly the middle again. It doesn't have to be perfect. Leaves can be so beautiful. None of them are exactly the same. None of them are perfect. They're just the most beautiful shapes and designs. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same as the top one. I often find if it's not quite the same, it looks more natural. Okay, so that's the second one. Third one down the bottom, giving it a little twist again, just to bring it all together, tacking it in. Down I go, and back up again. If it's gone way too thick and I'm not happy, if I give it a little bit more of a stab, it does tend to disappear into the leaf, which is quite handy. If it's really too thick and you're really not happy, not a problem, just pull it off. Pull it off before you really needle felt it in, okay? Okay, so there's the first part, nice and easy. Told you it would be simple. Okay, next bit. So I want to thin this out just a little bit more if I can without breaking it. If you do break it, it's not the end of the world. You can just put 2 separate bits on, not a problem. So got a nice long bit that's going to go all the way down the middle now. So tacking in at the top, all the way down the middle. Now what I want to try and do is hit the middle, the pointed bits of where I put the first part of the veins, the little V shapes. I want to hit those bits really. If it's not completely straight, do you know what? I like it when it does that. I like it when it's not completely straight down the leaf. Okay, and all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm going to have way too much this time. Like I said, I can always go back up on myself. That's not a problem. But I don't want it to be too thick, so I'm actually going to snip this bit, take it off, and then felt the end in. It's a little bit trickier to felt it when you've cut it, but it is possible. So once you've got that, you've basically got a very simple vein on your leaf. Look, it was as easy as that. Now obviously don't forget to peel it off. If you are pushing all the way through and you're going to see the underside of your project, just remember that some of it will push through. So you might want to go at a slight angle as you go in if you don't want it to push all the way through. Okay, I'm not worried because he's going to be going on to a green man, so that's fine. So that's the first technique. So I've created my first veiny leaf. I'm coming back in with another technique for you, which I think is really handy. And for this, I'm going to use my multi-needle tool, okay? And what I like to do is really go for it, really push it all in. And what it does is it starts to shape the leaf slightly, which I think makes it look a bit more realistic. If you bend it up as it goes, it does want to do that itself because you're pushing in the middle. If you bend it up a little bit as you go, and felt down, I'm using 2 38 gauge triangular needles. You'd need quite a strong needle, but as you can see, it starts to bring itself up and make it look a little bit more realistic. I think that's beautiful for a leaf. So that's a really good top tip for you, and you can go along those other veins if you want to as well. So that's another top tip for you. I'm going to show you a second way of doing the veins. So this is the first leaf that we've created using the carded wool here to make the veins, and then we've made him a little bit 3D shaped, so he's like a real leaf. Now the next one I wanted to show you was yarn. We can use yarn to create those veins in our leaves. So this is a beautiful hand spun yarn from a lovely lady called Claire. I've picked this colour again so that you can see it. Obviously you can use whatever colour that you would like. This is beautiful, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% wool. You can use acrylic yarn. It is easier if it's got a little bit of wool content, but acrylic yarn does work. You just need to use a good needle, like a 38 gauge needle or a 36 gauge needle, just to give it a bit of grip. Okay, so I would do exactly the same as I just did for these ones here, but I am going to need my scissors this time. Okay, so I just chop a bit off, and then I'm going to do the V's first. So just get it on. There we go, and back up to the top. It gives it lovely texture. It's sort of curled a little bit, which is lovely. So if you're looking for lovely textured leaves, then maybe yarn is a lovely way to go. I'm just going to chop off the excess rather than going back on myself, because it'll be extra thick otherwise. So I'm just stabbing that one in, and then I would continue to do the bottom and the middle again, and the nice line vein down the middle. So that's nice and easy, look, nothing complicated about those. Another great way to do it, if you just take some of your carded wool and instead of rolling it in your hands, you can actually just twist it. So if you twist, you get a slightly different effect. get this twisty effect in the middle, and then you can stab it down. It's untwisted at the top there, but if you keep going, you do get this lovely sort of twisted effect, which is really nice, almost like the yarn that's at the top there. So that's another nice way of doing it, but all pretty simple. You just have to take your time and create the detail that you like. Choose the colours that suit your project. So there you go. There's a few tips on making beautiful veins for your leaves on your needle felting projects. Happy felting, everyone!